United States and the state of North Carolina over transgender rights as they relate to bathroom access. I'm joined right now by Star Parker. Star is the founder and president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. Her website is urbancure.org. Star, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. It's good to be with you.
I guess
Who chose that song? I'm wondering. It reminded me of back in the day when I believed the lies of the left and ended up in all types of distorted living patterns.
Well, I'm much younger than you, Star, so I wouldn't know that back in the day stuff. That, by the way, is an absolute lie. Tell me, Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, is suggesting that this issue of transgender rights, bathroom access, is a civil rights issue akin to the struggles in the past that African Americans and others have dealt with. Your reaction to that?
This is what happens when you let progressives and liberals out of the closet. They come into the public square and distort reality, and then they distort law on the civil rights question. This movement that led us to the Civil Rights Act, there was not one eternal truth that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. moved to upset. And in fact, he went the opposite direction. His movement was one to move our nation towards its founding principles, toward truths. I mean, the truths that founded us, biblical values, limited government, free markets, e pluribus unum, where we all, many become one. And what we are seeing in progressives like Loretta Lynch is the exact opposite, a war against e pluribus unum, a war against traditional values, a war against limited government, and a war against free markets. When you think about North Carolina, on this North Carolina question, the people have spoken in North Carolina through their representatives that they don't want men going into women's restrooms, that there are birth certificates for a purpose. We are not a gender-neutral society. We are gender-specific for all types of reasons, moral, spiritual, biological. You know, I agree with the governor 100% that it's time for the Congress to bring clarity to our national anti-discrimination provisions, because we've been at this stuck corner for the last 50 years about what is or isn't in the Civil Rights Act. It's unfortunate that the black community decided to take a turn from Dr. King to go to big government, which has now collapsed their communities, and so the only ones speaking on their behalf are horrible progressives like Loretta Lynch. But it is a moment in time we have to revisit so that all of us can live free, all of us can live in peace, and all of us can live without government riding our back.
If I didn't make it clear in my introduction, I think most people can assume that Star is a national black conservative leader. The battle that we had in America in the 50s, 60s, and continuing really into the 70s over racial equality was fundamental to America. It seems to me now that a lot of people want to have in on the same kind of movement, but what they're trying to do is equate skin color with almost everything else. Some discrimination is wrong, but not all discrimination is wrong. I can't sit here and claim that I'm an African American, that I'm black. I'm not. The people in North Carolina are suggesting that they ought to be able to claim that they're a gender other than what they are. There's a difference there, and I think what people are doing, and when Loretta Lynch talks about this as being equivalent to Jim Crow, she's minimizing the victims of Jim Crow.
Right. Well, two things. One, when you think about Jim Crow, this was law. This was government. This is what happens when you have a view for big government. And what the country said was, this is government overreach. You can't do this. And unfortunately, it took the federal government to say, you cannot do this. You cannot overreach as governments and discriminate against people because of an innate characteristics. That said, now what we've seen is an expansion of the Civil Rights Act to include gender, sex, all types of other hijacks, if you will, to get to the place to where, as a secularized society, we have people confused about who should go into which restroom. Now, let's get to this question of transgender. Are there people who are not sure how their emotions should play out in the public square? Yeah, perhaps there are. But should the rest of society now move into this place where we're putting others at risk because some may just take advantage of it and go into girls' rooms and locker rooms. Don't forget, that's not about bathrooms. This is a locker room, showers, places where we change in department stores to get dressed. So this is now in the public square. So you have to get down to what is the real agenda driving this. Some of the questions on the table during the time that North Carolina was having this discussion in Charlotte was, well, why can't you just make a whole nother bathroom? I mean, we do already have those. You got girl, boy, family, or, you know, you can put the two symbols on there if you want to, and then you have your choices. But to force all to be complicit to this violation and attack on, as you're mentioning, what the Civil Rights Act is really about, we need to revisit that time. The Congress is going to have to revisit the Civil Rights Act and just start scrubbing away all of the challenges, all of the hijacks, all of those, I guess you could call them the continuums that led us to the place that we're now. Government is in every part of our lives.
We are a nation that did deny individual human rights to Americans because of their skin color.
Not the whole country.
I know, but we are a nation that did do it, and we sanctioned it, and we said it was legal. That was a profound error that we rectified. It just seems to me now that everybody wants to be in on that, and they want to get their moment, but it's not the same. This discrimination, no, you can't use that bathroom, is not akin to what we did to blacks. Yet for Loretta Lynch, who herself is black, to say that and to put it on that same platform, I think diminishes what we did as a nation.
That's right.
To blacks.
It does. It not only diminishes it, it changes the narrative. It changes the story. It shuts down dialogue on this really serious question about the role of government when it comes to private affairs. And that's what we're looking at, this attack on the 10th Amendment right now, where the states, the people of that state have a right to say, here's how we want to govern. We want protections that were already in place for the majority of our population to be able to have privacy in the restroom. This is the left that has brought this debate to public square and asked for more overreach from the federal government. Where Loretta Lynch sees an opportunity is because we did have the challenges in some of our states where they were discriminating through government practices, and now, as you're saying, we corrected those mistakes. Where do we go from here? We limit the role of government. We make sure that the Congress puts laws in place that say you cannot violate, as a Justice Department, states' rights either. This is a constitutional question.
I want to thank you for joining us. That's Star Parker. The name of her website is urbancure.org. She's the president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. I appreciate her joining us on the program today.